In 1928, a scientist came back from vacation to a ruined lab. Mold had contaminated weeks of his work. He was about to throw it all in the trash when he saw something impossible. All around the mold, the deadly bacteria were dying. That moment, when he almost threw away garbage, led to penicillin, a discovery that has saved over 200 million lives. But here esta parte do UNTC in school. This wasn't just luck. It was a mistake that only a prepared mind could recognize. And it reveals the hidden truth about how real breakthroughs actually happen. Today, we're not just talking about accidental discoveries that changed science. We're uncovering the invisible skill that separated a world-changing breakthrough from a pile of trash. Most of us are taught that scientific progress comes from careful planning, strict experiments, and following the scientific method perfectly. Mistakes are failures. Contamination ruins your work. But I analyzed dozens of the biggest discoveries in modern history, and I found something shocking. The pattern is the exact opposite. Penicillin, X-rays, the microwave oven, radioactivity, Velcro, even Post-it notes. They all came from experiments gone wrong. I've spent the last 6 months digging into these cases, and I'm going to show you 3 mistakes that changed everything. Then I'll reveal the one powerful skill all these scientists shared that you can start developing right now. By the end of this video, you will never look at failure the same way again. Our first story starts with a melted chocolate bar. It's 1945. Percy Spencer, a brilliant self-taught engineer at Raytheon, is testing a new military-grade radar system called a. As he's standing in front of the active device, he feels something weird in his pocket. He reaches in and his chocolate bar has completely melted. Not from his body. It was liquefied. Now, this is the point where 99% of people would just think, that's odd, grab a napkin and move on. But Spencer did something different. He got intensely curious. The very next day, he brought popcorn kernels to work. He held them near the magnetron and they started popping all over the lab. Then he tried an egg. It exploded, covering a colleague's face. Instead of just apologizing and getting back to his actual job, he realized what was happening. This radar device was cooking food with invisible waves. Within 2 years, Raytheon filed a patent for the first microwave oven. Today, over 90% of American homes have one, and it's a $10 billion global industry. All because one engineer didn't dismiss a melted chocolate bar as just an annoyance. The lesson here: the data was trying to tell him something. Most people edit out the strange stuff. Spencer investigated it. Now let's go back to that contaminated petri dish from 1928. Alexander Fleming was unjust any scientist. He was famously messy. His colleagues would complain that his lab looked like a disaster zone. Before leaving for a 2-week vacation, he had stacked his bacterial culture plates near a sink without properly sealing them. A huge mistake for a microbiologist. When he returned, mold spores from a fungus lab downstairs had drifted through his open window and contaminated everything. One plate in particular was covered in this fuzzy blue-green mold. Fleming's first instinct was to just throw it out, but then he paused. He noticed something impossible. All around each patch of mold, there was a clear ring, a killed zone where no bacteria grew. The mold was actively destroying the bacteria. He isolated that mold, Penicillium nototum, and spent the next decade trying to figure out how to mass produce its bacteria-killing substance. By World War II, penicillin was saving thousands of soldiers from infected wounds on the battlefield. Today, penicillin and the antibiotics it inspired have saved an estimated 200 million lives. It launched the entire antibiotic revolution. And it all started because Fleming spent an extra 30 seconds looking at a contaminated dish instead of immediately tossing it into the biohazard bin. He later famously said, "Fortune favors the prepared mind." The mold was an accident. Recognizing its importance was pure skill. Our third story begins with a mysterious glow. It's November 8th, 1895. Wilhelm Röntgen is experimenting with cathode ray tubes in his completely darkened lab. He's carefully covered the tube in heavy black cardboard so that no visible light can escape. But suddenly, across the room, a screen coated with a fluorescent material starts glowing. This should be physically impossible. Cathode rays, the particles he was studying, can't travel that far through the air. Most scientists would have assumed their equipment was broken or that there was a light leak. Röntgen did the opposite. He started placing different objects between the tube and the glowing screen. Books, a block of wood, pieces of metal. The glow persisted. Then, in a moment that would change history, he held up his own hand. On the screen, he saw the image of his bones. His flesh was transparent, but his bones and his wedding ring cast dark shadows. He had discovered a new, unknown form of radiation that could pass straight through solid matter. He called them X-rays, using X for unknown. Within months, doctors were using X-rays to find broken bones and locate bullets. Within a year, they were being used in surgery. Röntgen won the first ever Nobel Prize in physics for his discovery. The mistake was that he wasn't trying to discover X-rays at all. He was studying something completely different. But when something totally unexpected happened, he didn't ignore it. He chased it down. So what's the thread connecting all these stories? A melted candy bar, a moldy dish, and a glowing screen. It's not luck. It's not just an accident. It's a skill called prepared observation. It's the ability to notice when reality contradicts your expectations and treat that contradiction as a signal, not as noisy. Most of us are trained from a young age to ignore these anomalies. Your experiment didn't work as planned. Try again. Do it right this time. Something weird happened. It was probably an equipment error. Your data doesn't fit your hypothesis. It must be an outlier. Delete it. But Fleming, Spencer, and Röntgen shared a completely different instinct. When something unexpected happens, investigate it. The universe is trying to teach you something new. And this idea applies far beyond science. Think about it. How many failures in your own life were actually trying to point you towards something better? That job rejection that forced you to start your own business. That relationship that ended and made you discover who you really are. The biggest breakthroughs often aren't in the plan. They're hidden in the deviations from the plan. So, were these discoveries accidents? Yes and no. The mistakes were accidental. The discoveries were intentional acts of powerful curiosity. Here's my challenge to you. This week, when something goes wrong, when you make a mistake, or when things don't go according to plan, don't immediately try to fix it or dismiss it. Stop and ask, what is this trying to show me? You might just be standing in front of your own penicillin. If this changed how you think about failure, you need to watch my next video. I break down how you can deliberately create the conditions for these lucky accidents to happen. It's a strategy called engineered serendipity, and companies like Google and 3M use it to generate billions in innovation. You can find the link right here and drop a comment below. What mistake in your life turned out to be a huge blessing? Let's collect some of our own stories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.